What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel only if you want to. But look, my beautiful people, we got this top 10 scary astronaut stories. Look, has anybody coming up as a kid thought about being an astronaut until you got to that age where you was like, damn, I gotta know these mathematical equations and all this unnecessary. You know what? I don't even want to be no astronaut no more. I'd rather, you know what? I'll just work at the grocery store all my life or something like that, because that just takes too much thinking. You feel me? But look, I was like that. But look, let's get into this video. Hopefully y'all like this countdown. Let's get this video to like, what, 5,000 likes? Let's hop straight into this video without further ado.
Years after. It's a good one. My name is Danny Burke, and this is the top 10 scary astronaut stories. Starting off number 10 now, we have the knocking. In 2003, Yang Liwei became the first Chinese person in space. It was a historic occasion, but it also became famous for a creepy occurrence. In 2016, Yang told an interviewer that he heard someone knocking on the outside of the spaceship on that trip. He was terrified and tried to peek out of the porthole, but couldn't see anything outside. When he got back to Earth, Yang described the sound to experts. He even tried to recreate it for them, but nobody could identify it. In the years since, many people have tried to explain this strange phenomenon. Some say it could have been some space debris, but others say that this is unlikely. A space debris is few and far between. Others
I'm not going for no shit just knocking outside my spaceship. Bruh, ain't nothing supposed to be knocking. You feel me? Ain't supposed to be no wind, no nothing, like nothing. So what the fuck is out there?
It could be the expanding and contracting of the ship due to the changing temperature of the spaceship as it orbited the Earth. Even though that's the leading theory, many people have their own theories about aliens or time travelers being responsible for the mysterious knocking sound. Moving on to number 9 now, we have alien music. In 1969, American astronauts Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, and John Young went to the far side of the moon for the Apollo 10 mission. It was going to be the final test before Apollo 11 took 3 humans to walk on the surface of the moon for the first time. When the Apollo 10 astronauts were orbiting around the far side of the moon, they took photographs of its surface. As they were working away, they began to hear music. Specifically, they heard a strange whistling sound that lasted nearly an hour. When it faded away, Commander Cernan said, "Boy, that sure is weird music. We're going to have to find out about that." Pilot Young replied, "Nobody would believe us." And for the most part, they were right. Many people couldn't explain the sound that they claimed to have heard, and so they just didn't believe it. The leading theory is that the sound came from radio interference between spacecrafts. Some people have dismissed that, though, and have insisted that the astronauts would have known the difference between radio interference and their spacey music. Coming at number 8 now.
You gotta think though, all that schooling they went through and everything and all the training, bro, they probably know the difference, man. So what they said, I would definitely believe them, you know. I would definitely believe them. I'm pretty sure they wasn't tripping.
Have snakes in space. In
1984, they heard them aliens down there at the club. That's what the hell it was. You know what I'm saying? They was feeling that they was hearing the echo and shit from it. They was down there getting down. Like, they ain't worried about y'all motherfuckers up here. Just wanted to look at the moon.
Dr. Story Musgrave did an interview where he described his career as an astronaut and one particular time which shook him to that day. He said, "On 2 of my missions, I still don't have an answer. I have seen a snake out there. 6..."
Well, he seen a snake, nigga. Hold up. Let me go back. Seen a snake? A snake for real, bro? You look like a snake. You look just like a snake, y'all. As soon as they said it, snake, I'm like, whoa, I know he didn't say a snake, bro. You talking about yourself. You seen your reflection, bro.
Said, "On 2 of my missions, I still don't have an answer.
Now y'all looking at it differently.
A snake out there, 6, 7, 8 feet long. It is rubbery because it has internal waves in it, and it follows you for a rather long period of time. The more you fly in space, the more you see an incredible amount of things out there, and that sort of thing brings to you, really, a certainty that other living creatures are out there." Now, usually an account like this might be dismissed, but Musgrave is a doctor. He has 6 academic degrees, is a trained mathematician. He was in the Marine Corps and was a NASA astronaut. He seems like a credible witness. He believes that there are advanced creatures existing in space itself, and that he has even tried to communicate with them in the hopes that they come down and get him. whatever that means.
Come down to get him.
Now we have
not coming down to get me now. Like, we could be cool. We could be friends, bro. I'm not coming, like, look, hell no.
Docking. In 1995, famous Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield had his first space flight. His job was to relay the speed and range information to the pilot as they were docking into the Russian Mir space station. Any mistakes could have resulted in a total disaster. Too soft and they would have just bounced off. Too hard and they would have broken the space station in half, killing the 3 people on board. Everything was going smoothly, but then one of the sensors started telling them they were 32 feet away, the other said 20 feet away, which was correct. If they didn't solve the problem in 30 seconds, it was over for them. Hadfield had to calculate how far they were away in his head, timing it with his stopwatch to decide when they should fire their thrusters. Luckily, they ended up being spot on and they docked almost perfectly. It took a few minutes before the astronauts began to realize they had done it. They were alive, they had avoided a space disaster, and they had lived to tell the tale. Moving on to number 6, we have impossible.
Imagine that, bro. Them little small little them little hiccups can get you killed out there. Well, you know what? I need professionals. Like, we need to get to that point where we can go to outer space. Like, I feel like in the future ways going, bro, we ain't gonna be able to inhabit this planet right here for too much longer. A couple more 100 years, maybe a couple thousand years, bro. We ain't gonna be able to breathe here.
On May 5th, 1981, Russian cosmonaut Vladimir Kovalyonok looked out of his portal of the Salyut orbital space station. He then saw something which seemed inexplicable to him. When he returned to Earth, he told the world at a conference what he had seen. He said, "Many cosmonauts have seen phenomena which are far beyond the experiences of Earthmen. For 10 years, I have never spoke on such things. The encounter you asked me about happened on May 5th, 1981, at about 6 p.m. during the Salyut mission. At that time, we were over the area of South Africa, moving towards the area of the Indian Ocean. I just made some gymnastic exercises when I saw in front of me, through a porthole, an object which I could not explain. I saw this object, and then something happened that I could not explain, something impossible according to the laws of physics. The object had this shape, elliptical, and it flew with us. From a frontal view, it looked like it would rotate in flight direction. It only flew straight, but then a kind of explosion happened. Very beautiful to watch, of golden light. That was the first part. Then, 1 or 2 seconds later, a second explosion followed somewhere else, and 2 spheres appeared, golden and very beautiful. After this explosion, I just saw white smoke, then a cloud-like sphere. Before we entered the darkness, we flew through the Terminator, the twilight zone between day and night. We flew eastwards, and when we entered the darkness of the Earth's shadow, I could see them no longer. The 2 spheres never returned. That was the end of the quote. There have rarely been descriptions so vivid and detailed.
Yeah, that shit sounds like a damn movie. I'm sitting here listening to it the whole time like, damn, bro, like, that shit would be amazing to do, but to be that far away from Earth, though, shit, I don't know.
Many people who hear Kovalyonok's story hold it up as proof of extraterrestrial life. Moving on now to number 5, we have toxic. In the mid-90s, Bob Kerbean took part on his first spacewalk as an astronaut. Unfortunately, disaster struck when a connector to a hose began to leak on the outside, spraying toxic ammonia all over him. He couldn't get back inside the space station covered in that stuff. He managed to stay calm and he fixed the leak, but he was still contaminated. He came up with a plan. Ammonia has a low boiling point, and so Bob decided to literally bake himself in the sunlight of space for an extra 30 minutes in order to vaporize the ammonia off him. He had to just sit out there in space, hoping that he got all the ammonia off and that he didn't poison the crew and himself when he got back into the station. It was a success. His plan worked. But it was one of the most surreal and scary moments an astronaut could ever experience. Next up at number 4 now, we have the
That's
lights.
crazy, bro. Like, look, them movies, bro, look, don't do it no justice. That should be real, bro. Like, you at the mercy of space, bro. Let's just imagine, like, you at that one point, you like, damn, if I don't think of something right now, like, then I'm gonna sit out here and die, bro, and everybody's gonna see me die out here, bro. Like, in space. They're not gonna be able to recover my body, none of that.
Leroy Chiao was commander on the International Space Station for over 6 months. He was once doing a spacewalk to repair some antennas when something caught his eye. He saw some lights that seemed to be in a line, almost like an upside-down check mark. They flew right past him, but his fellow astronaut didn't see because they were facing the other way. When he described the sighting to those back on the ground, they dismissed it as a fishing boat hundreds of miles below him. Chiao himself had stated that he doesn't believe there's ever been any tangible evidence that someone else is visiting Earth or has done so in the past. He has simply told his story as it is and is leaving all of the explaining up to everyone else. Coming in at number 3 now, we have the drifter. Now, for some people, the biggest fear they have about space is that feeling of drifting away from the space station, unable to claw themselves back. Well, Scott Parazinski may have had the closest experience to that. He was performing a spacewalk when a jammed solar panel threatened the safety of the entire space station and the crew inside.
It's always so, like... It's always that high, bro. Like, if something go wrong, everybody gonna die. Bro, for what? I can't be up here with y'all and it's always, we about to die from some bullshit.
For 72 hours, NASA came up with a plan. Scott was told to travel further away from the safety of an airlock than had ever been attempted. He later said in an interview, there was a real danger that we could do even worse damage to the space station. Then there was the potential of risk to myself because if there was any metal-to-metal connection with the solar panel or arcing, I could actually electrocute myself or cause ignition of the 100% oxygen in my spacesuit. The stakes were high, but Scott succeeded. Disaster was averted, but sadly, many of Scott's heroics are still not known by the masses. Moving on to number 2 now, we have the secret transmission. In 1975, retired chief of NASA Communications Systems, Maurice Chatelain, published his book, Our Cosmic Ancestors. In it, he made an extraordinary claim about the first manned mission to the moon. He said, only moments before Armstrong stepped down the ladder to set foot on the moon, 2 UFOs hovered overhead. Edwin Aldrin took several pictures of them. Some of these photographs have been published in the June 1975 issue of Modern People magazine. Now, this claim was linked to the story that there were 2 minutes of radio silence after Armstrong set foot on the moon. People claim that the lost audio was of him saying, these babies were huge, sir, enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out here lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They're on the moon watching us. Now, of course, all of this is speculation. An actual recording of that audio or of those pictures has never surfaced. That either means it didn't happen at all or it's been covered up very...
Man, come on, man. Y'all already know what's going to happen, bro. They're not going to let y'all be hip to the information straight up there when they know. You're going to know like years and years and years, like 20, 30, 40 years later, the truth about these things. That's because they want to have control. They want to control the narrative of, like, you know, like, say for instance, they have to integrate alien life forms into our lives. It has to be gradual. If the government was like, hey, aliens are here. Yeah, we're working with the aliens. We've been working with them, and they live right next door to you. People will freak out. It'll be a big revolt, and then we don't want to have beef with aliens because, you know, people are going to be doing hate crimes on them and stuff for no reason, and yeah, it's going to get bad.
Very well. Either way, it's a creepy story. And finally, number 1 now, we have the Green Bolt. Gordon Cooper was a well-known astronaut who flew on the Mercury 9 and Gemini 5 missions. He was the last American to fly alone in space. In 1963, he flew aboard the Mercury capsule for a circumnavigational trip around the world. I'm
not going alone. Somebody's going to die with me. You're going to die with me.
Seemed to be going okay, and then on his final orbit, as he passed over Perth, Australia, he saw a green object swing towards him at an incredible speed. At first, he thought it was just a figment of his imagination. There have been times where pilots and astronauts have seen objects like this, but their equipment detected nothing. This time was different though. The Moochia tracking station in Western Australia actually picked the object up on their radar. That was huge. Now he had something solid to back up his own experience. He reported the incident to the National Broadcasting Company. When he returned to Earth, he was eager to tell his side of the story, but Gordon claims he was approached by NBC reporters who told him they had been instructed to not question him about the sighting. All of this has only fanned the flames of a UFO conspiracy. So there we have it, guys. Some stories from...
Hey, facts though. You know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all feel about these situations? I feel like, look, man, obviously, Bro, we'd be crazy to think that we the only ones out here. I'm telling you, like, we gotta stop thinking like that. We so close-minded about stuff. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that we're the only thing that exists. There's other intelligent life forms out here. Oh. If you were classified as aliens or whatever, they've probably been here before us. But look, at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Let me know how y'all felt, and I'll see you in the next video. Like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See you in the next video, and I'm out, though. Blah.